Me and you had that connection. We went to Georgia Tech.
Yes.
So you do have that background there.
Mm-hmm.
But, most people from Georgia Tech don't get into a fashion brand. So let's talk about that.
Totally. It's what a gear shift.
Right.
So, I went to Georgia Tech, and I want to say my first Dirty December was 2009, actually. I was still in school. So I've been doing Dirty December forever. And
What's that?
Dirty December, that's when all the
Everybody
Africans
goes to
go
Africa?
back to...
That's what it's called?
Yeah, Dirty December.
Dirty December.
I knew it
Yeah,
happened in
that-
December. I
yeah.
just didn't know there was a name for it.
There's an actual
Yeah,
term,
there's a
and that's a
term.
real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
That's why the
so-
prices be dirty, too.
Yeah, but it's worth it. So, okay, I went back and I started buying dresses on that first trip. And I bought some dresses. And then I remember my dad, after I came back to the States with these dresses, I thought they were really cute. And I was like, I'm going to start selling dresses. And my dad went back to the same market and bought me like 20 more or whatever and sent the suitcase by somebody. And I received the bag. And then I had a little pop-up in my apartment on Peachtree. And this was back when rent was like $550 per month. I was living on Peachtree in Buckhead. I thought I was the shit.
Good times.
So I know. For my one bedroom, yeah.
You can't even get a place in the projects for that now.
Right? So anyways, did this pop up, had my sisters put on the dresses, and they wore the dresses, and as they would come out of my room in the dresses, girls would be like, no, I want that one. And so then my sisters kept taking off dresses and putting on new dresses. And I think we were selling them either $25 a piece or $40 a piece. It just depends. And I don't think I've sold anything for $40 since then. But no, so that's when it started. Because at that time, I still wanted to be like a news host. I wanted to be a presenter. But I just fell into the business I just had a good eye for like what looked good on different body types. So when I moved to Liberia, I wanted to be the West African Oprah, and people were not trying to book me for hosting. It was they were trying to buy the clothes that I was wearing on the shows. So I did a pop-up at my friend James, who's another Liberian who went to Georgia Tech, at his studio, and people were buying the most African of the styles. So that was when I realized like people do want African apparel. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that because, and also interesting how like just life and timelines and God aligns things, because imagine you having this inspiration to do, or not inspiration, but this moment where people are like, oh, I want to buy that in this time, because as y'all know, as we all who grew up African and American know, it wasn't always cool to be African.
Right.
Like even wearing African clothes wasn't even cool. So
none
for
of it.
you having this now while it's cool and everybody's like, yo, I want that. That's like
I agree.
Perfect alignment.
It's been interesting too, because I remember, we lived in East Cobb. Like, it was not cool we were the only black family. The other African family was white South African. So it just, that was its own different vibe. And so I'll say, like, I always knew I was different, because I think, personally, my experience is black kids always gonna remind you're not African American. But then also I was too light-skinned to be African. Like, there was just so many things that, because I had not been there, and because, fine, we can blame the schools for not teaching us things, but also just because that sort of knowledge isn't shared, I had to prove that I was African, and I couldn't really truly defend what that meant until I moved back. And now there's this renaissance. I'm so excited that people want to go and learn more.
Yeah.
I think that African Americans have a lot to heal with their relationship with America in general, but I also feel that there's so many people who are like, oh, Africans are all mean, and I'm like, Africa is huge. You haven't met everybody from there, right? And then also blocking people who are not black from wearing African clothing, when, to be honest, leave the Africans out of that, because the most African thing in the world is to share. So it's not just black people who are interested in Africa, it's everybody.
What's your slogan for one of your slogans?
All are
for
welcome.
I love it.
We're huge on all are welcome, because I'm not pushing anybody out of this. First, it's like, I believe that dashiki print should not be on your bikinis. Kente cloth should not be on your bikinis because the people, the Ashanti people, take their time to weave beautiful kente. And so I feel like we've seen African culture be appropriated in so many different ways that I would rather welcome you into what I have seen and studied and learned and worked with. Because if I don't invite you in, you're going to take it somehow.
Yeah.
And you may misrepresent it.
Yeah, exactly. You can bring them in the right way.
Exactly.
And make sure that the culture is represented how it needs to be.
Yes, and to make sure that the people are still benefiting.
Right.
That's
a big thing.
Because people going to be out here buying waist beads from Amazon made by somebody in China, or I can make sure that my team in Ghana is still benefiting from the growth and explosion of this growing trend, growing movement, So, yeah, I just really believe in all are welcome so that I can represent this the way that I feel respects the culture.